You ever scroll through your feed and feel like everyone's secretly rich except you? Your coworker just bought a new car. Your old classmate is posting vacation photos again. And somehow, even the guy who used to borrow lunch money now talks about dividends on LinkedIn. Meanwhile, you're doing everything right, working hard, saving when you can, yet your progress feels invisible. You start wondering, am I doing something wrong? Or did everyone else figure out a secret I missed? Here's the truth. Most of them aren't richer because they're smarter, luckier, or born into money. They're richer because they're playing a different game, one that most people don't even realize exists. It's not about fancy salaries or viral side hustles. It's about systems, psychology, and timing. The quiet patterns that separate people who build wealth from people who just talk about it. And once you understand how this game is really played, you'll stop feeling behind, because you'll finally see the rules that were hidden in plain sight. In this video, we'll break down exactly what the quietly wealthy know that you don't yet. And by the end, you'll see why the gap between broke and secure has less to do with money and more to do with mindset. Section 1. The illusion of wealth. Look around. It's easy to mistake spending for success. We live in a culture where luxury is marketed as stability. New cars, brand-name sneakers, the upgraded phone every year, they're all designed to look like progress. But most of what you see isn't wealth. It's leverage. It's debt wearing designer clothes. People trade long-term freedom for short-term validation, then post it with good lighting and a filter. You're not comparing your finances to theirs. You're comparing your reality to their highlight reel. And that comparison quietly destroys perspective. The truth is, the people who actually build wealth rarely look rich while they're doing it, because real wealth grows in silence, in the background, in accounts you can't photograph, and in choices no one else sees. Section 2. The invisible game they're playing. Once you stop chasing the illusion of wealth, you start noticing something interesting. The people who actually are wealthy aren't competing on the same field as everyone else. Most people play the income game, trading time for money, chasing promotions, and hoping higher paychecks will eventually lead to freedom. But the quietly rich, they play the ownership game. They don't ask, how much can I earn this month? They ask, what can I build that keeps earning when I'm not working? That one question changes everything. Because once your focus shifts from income to assets, you stop chasing speed and start chasing scale. You start thinking like an investor, not a consumer. You realize that every dollar you control can either buy comfort today or control tomorrow. They're not working harder, they're structuring smarter. They design their lives so that money flows automatically in the background. Every system, every investment, every habit is built to compound quietly, while the rest of the world is still refreshing their paychecks. That's why they look calm. They're not constantly hustling. Their systems are. And that brings us to one of the most important differences between people who seem ahead and those who actually are. It's not how much they make. It's how their money moves when they're not paying attention. Section 3. Systems, not salaries. Here's the quiet truth about money most people never realize. Discipline fades. Systems don't. The people who seem effortlessly in control of their finances aren't relying on willpower. They've just built structures that make good decisions happen automatically. Their savings? On autopilot. Their investments? Scheduled every month, whether they feel like it or not. Their bills? Paid without thought or stress. It's not because they're better at budgeting. It's because they've designed their money to behave. Most people wait to feel motivated before managing their finances. The wealthy design systems that don't need motivation at all. Because here's the reality. Consistency always beats intensity. It's not the person who makes one giant leap forward that wins. It's the person who builds a process that never stops moving, even on the days they're tired or distracted. That's why the quiet wealthy don't grind forever. They build once, automate, then step back while the system compounds. Their paycheck flows to investments before they ever see it. Their credit cards are tools, not temptations. Their budgets are silent scripts that keep running while they live their lives. And over time, those systems create the one thing most people never achieve: momentum. Because when your money starts moving on its own, wealth stops being something you chase and starts being something that follows you. Section 4. The margin mindset. If systems keep your money moving, margin keeps it safe. Most people live right up to the edge. Every dollar earned is a dollar already spoken for. There's no room to breathe, no space for error. One missed paycheck or unexpected expense, and everything unravels. But the quietly wealthy treat margin like oxygen. It's not optional, it's survival. They understand that freedom isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much space you create between what you earn and what you spend. That space is what gives you leverage. It's what allows you to say no when everyone else is forced to say yes. Margin is the calm in your decision-making. It's what lets you take a day off without guilt, decline an offer that doesn't feel right, or invest in an opportunity that others can't afford to wait for. You can feel it in the way they move, slower, more deliberate, unbothered, because they're not running out of time or money. They've built just enough space to think. The average person uses money to escape discomfort. The wealthy use margin to avoid panic. That's the difference between reacting and choosing, between surviving and designing. And here's the part most people miss. You don't need millions to build margin. You just need discipline long enough to widen that gap, even slightly, and protect it relentlessly. Because once you have margin, you stop living paycheck to paycheck and start living decision to decision. Section 5. The compounding gap. Here's where everything starts to separate. At first, the difference between you and the people who seem richer is microscopic. A few dollars saved, a few decisions deferred. It doesn't look like much. But compound growth doesn't announce itself. It hides in the early years, quietly building under the surface while everyone else gets distracted. You can't see it month to month, but decade to decade. It's the only thing that matters. The truth is, wealthy people aren't winning because they made one big move. They're winning because they made the same small move thousands of times. Every dollar invested early has decades to multiply. Every automated contribution adds invisible weight to the future. Every avoided impulse purchase protects that snowball just long enough for it to start rolling. And here's the irony. For years, it feels like nothing is happening. Then one day, the numbers start accelerating. Your investments grow faster than your contributions, and what felt slow suddenly looks like lucky. That's the compounding gap. The quiet years when no one notices, followed by the visible years when everyone assumes you got rich overnight. They didn't get there faster. They just stayed in the game longer. Because compounding doesn't reward excitement, it rewards endurance. And the moment you understand that, you stop asking why are they ahead and start realizing you're already on the same path. You just haven't reached the visible part yet. Section 6. What they know that you don't. If you strip away the numbers, the investments, and the systems, what's left is mindset. And this is where the quietly wealthy pull away completely. They don't think about money in terms of having it. They think in terms of using it. Money to them is a tool, not a trophy. It's something that builds freedom, not something that proves success. They also understand something most people never do. The path to wealth is supposed to be boring, predictable routines, reinvested gains, years of nothing dramatic happening until suddenly everything changes. While others chase excitement, they chase duration. They know the longer their money stays invested, the more unstoppable it becomes. They don't crave instant results because they trust time to do what effort alone can't. They also don't confuse growth with status. They'd rather be unknown and secure than impressive and unstable. That's why they seem calm, because they know that real wealth is invisible until it doesn't have to be. And perhaps the most important thing they know is this. You don't need to predict the future to get rich. You just need to stop interrupting the present. They've mastered the art of staying the course. That's it. No hacks, no secrets, just quiet conviction in systems that work and patience that compounds. Section 7. The moment you stop feeling behind. At some point, you realize that wealth isn't a race, it's a curve. And most people who seem ahead are simply further along their compounding timeline. They started earlier, stayed consistent, and didn't stop when progress looked invisible. But here's the shift that changes everything. The moment you stop comparing and start compounding, you've already caught up. Because once you build systems, margin, and patience, you're no longer playing the public game of showing off. You're playing the private game of building quietly. And that's the only game that actually pays. You stop obsessing over who bought what. You stop needing to prove how hard you're working. And you start feeling a different kind of wealth. The kind that shows up as calm mornings, confident decisions, and freedom to think longer term. That's the point where richer than you stops being about numbers and starts being about state of mind. Everyone else is chasing validation. You're building independence. And ironically, The second you stop chasing the illusion is the moment you start living the reality they're pretending to have. Here's the truth most people never see. It's not that everyone is richer than you. It's that some people started learning earlier what you're just starting to notice now. They learned that money doesn't respond to noise. It responds to structure. That wealth doesn't come from effort, but from endurance. That you don't need more hustle, you need better habits. And once you internalize that, the whole world stops feeling unfair. Because you realize you're not behind. You've just been playing the wrong game. The moment you build systems, create margin, and stay consistent long enough, the same quiet math starts working in your favor too. The people who seem ahead today aren't your competition. They're your preview. They've just been compounding longer. And now, so will you. If you want to know exactly what those quiet habits look like, the simple routines that slowly build invisible wealth, watch the next video, 7 Daily Money Habits That Quietly Make You Rich. Because once you combine the mindset from this video with those daily actions, you won't just feel caught up, you'll feel in control.